Hello everyone, dear friends. Today I'm going to bring you a recipe of French fried onions. Very easy to make, very simple recipe, and very nice as well. You will really like the taste, and they can be served with tea or coffee, and they can be served to your guests and your family and your friends, can be served at your hotel, can be served anywhere, and they really taste very nice, very yummy, and very simple recipe as well. I'm going to share the recipe with you, but before that you are going to like, share and subscribe to my channel and become a part of my YouTube family, and together we will be going onto a journey of wisdom, knowledge, positivity, practicality and power because of that knowledge. Okay, and do subscribe then, be quick to subscribe, and we will go on to discuss the French fried onions recipe. Some of the ingredients that you're going to use in this recipe, or you're going to need for this recipe, I have gathered them here for you, and the rest of the ingredients I'll tell you as we go on into the recipe. But very simple ingredients. I am going to use onions. You can see my onions, were not very well formed inside. They were not all round, but if your onions are all round, that will be really nice, because then you can get nice onion rings. I did not this time find very nice onion rings with me in these onions, but anyway, you can take 5-6 onions as I have taken, as you can see here in the picture. And for that, the batter that you're going to make, for that batter you need 5 tablespoons of white flour, 5 tablespoons of corn flour, 1 teaspoon, or you can minimize or maximize the quantity of salt, and 1 teaspoon of white pepper. I've used white pepper for this recipe. You can also use black pepper or red chili powder, whichever taste you like. Okay, it depends upon you. I have used white pepper for it, and 1 to 1.5 teaspoon of ground coriander, dried coriander in powder form. I've used that 1 to 1.5 teaspoon of that. And additionally, I'm going to use a cup of milk and 2 eggs for this recipe. Okay, so keep that also in mind. As you can see here, I have cut on my cutting board. I'm cutting the onions. I'm slicing them whole. Why? Because I'm going to get onion rings out of them. So I've cut them, I've sliced them. You can see them all sliced here now in front of me, in front of you, and you can see the rest of the ingredients are also there. What am I going to do with these onions? Am I going to let them be as they are now, or there's something else I'm going to do with them? Let's see. Oh yes, I am going to make them into rings. With the help of my fingers and thumb, I'm going to make them into rings, onion rings. And you can see I have made all my 6 onions into rings, and they are now in a pot. And after that, I have added water to them, cold water to them. Okay, dip them in cold water. They're soaked in water now. And I have also added 2 eggs here to the ingredients, and they are soaked, the onions are soaked in cold water now. Okay, they will remain soaked in water till we fry them, till we go on to fry them. So to the ingredients here, I've also added a cup of milk now, 2 eggs and a cup of milk, and the rest are the same. 5 tablespoons of corn flour, 5 tablespoons of white flour, 1 to 1.5 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of powdered dried coriander, and 1 teaspoon of white pepper. Okay, these are all the ingredients that we are going to use, besides of course oil that we are going to fry these onion rings in. At this stage, I must give you a very important tip. You can also, cut these onions and dip them in cold water and let them be if you want to make them after, say, a few hours, or if your guests are coming and you want to finish off the homework for making these onions before they come and you want to fry them after they come, you can also do that. You're going to just cut the onions and dip them in cold water and let them be. The other thing that you're going to do, that I will just tell you, you can make that batter also and you can let it be. You can refrigerate it, cover it and refrigerate it for a few hours along with the onions, so that when your guests come or when you want to fry them, you can do it at a later stage as well. So the preparation can be done beforehand as well. So it totally depends upon your need and the way you want to do it. But you can do it that way as well. That's my tip. Now I'm going to make the batter for frying the onions, for dipping the onions in and then frying them. Okay. So for the batter, what goes in? The corn flour goes in, the white flour goes in, the salt goes in, and what else goes in? Let's see. Now you can see I'm putting in white pepper as well, milk, a cup of milk as well, and I'm mixing all the ingredients up. And here you can see I'm adding the ground coriander powder as well, and of course milk as well, and white pepper. Everything has gone into the mixture. It's still dry, and then I'm going to mix it up and let's see what we do with it. I have mixed it up and it has become formed into a batter, and to that batter I add the 2 eggs as well. I showed you the 2 eggs previously, and I have added the 2 eggs to it, and I'm mixing them along with that batter that I had already made, and now it's going to form the final batter that we need to dip the onions in and to later fry them. So you can make this batter and you can cover it and you can place it in your refrigerator. You can make onion rings, cut onion rings, and you can soak them in cold water and refrigerate them as well, covered. Okay, if you want to make these French fried onions at some later stage in the day, for some friends or your family or yourself, or for your guests in the restaurant, you can just keep these 2 things, and when you get an order, somebody places an order for these onions, you can then make them very easily. Okay, take out things from the fridge and just deep fry them, and of course give them to your guests. So we've got the batter with us on one side, we've got the onions with us on the other side. We're going to throw away the water that the onions were soaked in. I have just thrown away the water in my shank. You can do it with the help of a sieve as well. Take the onions out of your water. Okay, and in the middle image you can see I have taken some oil for deep frying in my wok, and it is on my stove on medium heat, so that the oil becomes a bit hot before I add the onions to it. I will just show you what I did. What I did was I put my onions into the batter, okay, and I mixed them up with the batter, and I've taken a spoon. With the help of a spoon, I'm going to dip 1 onion ring in the batter and take it out and put it in the oil in the wok, okay, for frying. And as you can see, my onion is sizzling hot now. It's gone into the hot oil and it's sizzling and it's cooking, okay. And turn by turn, you can also wear kitchen gloves, and you can use your fingers, your hands, to dip the onion in the batter, and you can then just put it in the oil in the wok then with your hands as well. As many onion rings as can go in to your wok in the oil in the wok, you can fry them at a time, and that's what I did. And but I will tell you, as my onion rings were getting ready, I made a dip also to be served with these French fried onions. and it's really yummy. If you want the salt and the spice to be minimized, or you don't want to use the spice, you can minimize that as well. I'll just tell you the recipe of that dip. For the dip, in a small bowl, I took some mayonnaise. Okay, I took some mayonnaise and I added half a teaspoon of vinegar to it. I added apple cider vinegar. You can add any vinegar that you have with you or you use normally in your cooking. So half a teaspoon of vinegar, and I added a very little amount of red chili as well to it. If you don't want to add red chilies at all, don't add them at all. Or if you want to minimize the amount, you can further minimize the amount. Or if you want more red chilies, you can add more red chilies. It totally depends upon you. I did not add salt to it because the taste of salt is already there in the mayo that I was using, but if you want to add salt, you can add salt. So I mixed it up and my dip is ready for my French fried onions, and this dip really tastes very nice with onions. Well, it just comes to my mind. I will share the recipe of mayo also with you, homemade mayonnaise with you at some later stage. And here you go, lo and behold, my French fried onions are ready, dished out, served, ready to be served to my guests, to my family. And with it, the dip is also ready. So you make the dip ready, you make the French fried onions ready this way, and you eat them. Aren't they looking inviting to you? Beautiful goldish brown color. Very nice. I really like them. So they're very yummy, light to eat, very nice, and you can have them with coffee, with tea, whenever you want to. It depends upon you. You can serve them to your guests, to your family, and you can serve them at your restaurant. Of course, that's your choice. Try them and tell me how you liked them, and become a member of my family on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel Live Themes with Faria Habib, and keep growing your knowledge, wisdom, power, practicality and positivity. And take care of yourselves, take care of your dear ones. Cheers.